Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Credits and Chords. I am your host, Practical, joined by the fellas.
Danny boy, it's Danny Boy Show, not these other three little bitches.
You left them speechless. They couldn't even say their names.
Sorry, guys.
This is Rex, and go fuck yourself, Danny. Who are you? What's your name? Boy.
Jesus.
Yo, it's Brandon.
Yo.
How's everyone doing?
Today we're going to talk about Mexican filmmaker Alfonso Cuarón. Danny picked him.
Did.
It's his last pick of the month, so we're going to go out with a bang on this one, just like those two guys did in fucking Tambien.
Oof.
Let's not talk about that.
So we're going to talk about Y2 Mama Tambien, which also means Your Mama 2, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Sorry. Children of Men, Gravity, and Roma.
Did you say Y when it's E?
I don't know how to pronounce shit. I'm white.
Well.
Y tu mama también.
Yeah.
Jesus freaking Christ, man.
Come on,
Yeah,
man.
Fuck you guys.
How dare you be white, Aaron?
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, you can put a little bit of effort into learning how to say the title if you're gonna go on record and say the title.
I could, or I could just do it the way we did it and roll with the consequences. So, Danny, why don't you tell us a little bit about why you picked this guy?
Well, I mean, I think we all know which one of these movies is my favorite. But after watching,
Oh, I know.
yes, I mean Harry Potter, obviously.
Lame.
No,
What? I was way
I believe
thrown
he
off
asked
there.
me a question. Ass. Anyways, no. That film for me is my favorite of the film series, not book series, but it always stood out to me because it was that transition from the kiddie vibe that the first two movies did to more of a darker tone, and it sets the tone for the remainder movies and books, or however you want to call it. So I just like the way that movie was directed. And so I never really watched any of his other stuff until Gravity came out, and then Gravity came out, and I mean, visually stunning in the movie theater, great. But I'd always wanted to see other work of his, and honestly, I hadn't seen the other three, so I'd never seen Y Tu Mama Tambien, Children of Men, or Roma. So I kind of wanted to do a Rex move, if you will, and pull a fast one and be like, oh, I haven't really watched many of these except for those two. So I just wanted to try something new and different, and I'm kind of glad I did, because I would say the other three movies definitely blew me away for sure.
Blew you away, huh?
No pun
Yeah.
intended, I'm sure.
Definite pun intended. Definitely.
What movie of these five, before we get into them, would you recommend to somebody that you wanted to get into it? Because what I was thinking while watching Harry Potter was, how the fuck did he go from Tambien to Harry Potter?
Right.
It's quite the jump,
Honestly, I would probably recommend Children of Men. I feel like that's a good starting point. I know it's kind of in the middle of his stuff, because we also didn't cover a movie I haven't seen in years, and I kind of wanted to watch it again, but I forgot to, which was Great Expectations. But I would probably do Children of Men to be the first one.
I feel like he might have been chosen for that particular Harry Potter movie because he's really good. And mind you, I only saw Tambien. And I just was the whole entire time I was watching it, I thought it was just a really fucking good coming of age story.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure Great Expectations is a coming of age story. I think he did a movie called Little Princess, which I would only imagine is a coming of age story. I don't know.
I think it's a Disney movie, isn't it?
Speaking out of his ass, everybody, Labonte.
Yeah. I mean,
No, I watched it this morning actually because I was on a roll and I was like, "Fuck it, let me watch it." And it's exactly what you said. It is. It's just
So maybe that's probably
Labonte
that's probably
nailed
why
it,
it was
everybody.
chosen for that shitty ass Harry Potter movie.
Right. That's what
And
you
we're back
think.
to shitting out his ass.
Oh my
So
god!
it's so much. I love the disdain you have for it. I fucking when I went in to review mine and I looked at Danny's rating versus yours, and yours was half a star, dude. I started laughing so
I think
hard.
Harry Potter is ass. I think it's derivative drivel written by a fucking dipshit fucking bigot. So I don't know.
I mean, I don't disagree. I don't really care. Harry Potter for me is a real neutral thing. I mean, I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's cool. It's all right. It's whatever. Like, it's not a big deal to me.
It's real to me,
I didn't.
damn it.
Yeah. What about you, Rex? Would you? I mean, were these all first time views for you, or?
I've seen Gravity before, and obviously Harry Potter and Children of Men. So the two Spanish ones, Your Mama Too, and Roma, and Roma I'd never seen before. Children of Men is always a great trek. I think that movie's awesome. I like the idea that the world just stopped having kids. Like, that's just a super cool and weird idea. And just the way it kind of ruined the world. And then, Gravity I saw a long time ago, not in theaters either time. So they're just both not fun rides for me. And Harry Potter 3 is one of the best of the film series because it is, like Danny's here said, is that transition from kind of a more kiddish tone to a more young adult, darker Harry Potter theme for the later movies. But yeah, these other two, interesting. Interesting.
All right. But so Children of Men is what you'd recommend to somebody of his movies?
Hell no, I'm going Harry Potter. Everybody loves Harry Potter. Everybody loves Harry Potter except Brandon.
That's not true.
Everybody. Almost everybody. Most people do.
Give
It
me
is
Lord of the
popular.
Rings or give me death.
Hey, I love Lord of the Rings, but I do love me some Harry Potter too.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, why can't you
Doesn't have
love
to be
both?
I
one
mean,
or
you can
the
have
other.
both. I just don't like it. I think it sucks.
I
And
love Star Wars too. Like,
I mean, the older I get, the less I like Star Wars.
that's fair.
Like,
Yeah, but the older
genuinely
you get,
only
the less you like anything.
that's fair, but
Jesus.
I
Gotta take that
genuinely
into
think
account.
the only good Star Wars movie at this point in my life is Empire Strikes Back. I even think A New Hope is kind of like it's technically it's like a good movie. Like, it's very, a lot of like the miniature stuff they do and the special effects stuff they do is good, but it's a whatever movie. But like the conflict and the growth in the second movie is like the good shit. I don't know.
Empire
That's
is
just
great, but I still think Revenge of the Sith is the best.
That movie sucks, dude.
That
Return of
movie
the Jedi.
is so good in so many ways, and some of them are great.
You
Some of them are great.
underestimate my power. That's exactly how it was delivered in the movie, too, by the way.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that was spot on, actually.
Yeah, I mean, nobody said you shouldn't act.
All right, well,
I love
let's get into the movies themselves. We'll break them down individually, and Danny, you can give everybody a little rundown of what each movie's about before we give our 2 cents,
Naps,
if you don't mind.
if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
A synapser.
Give us that nappy.
2001's Tambien. You can say the full title.
Yeah. Why Tambien? Ichimama Tambien is a...
Hey, it's that Y2 Mama Tambien.
God.
Isn't that a dish?
It's a beautiful coming of age story about 2 young boys that are pretty close friends, it seems. Well, you come to find out that they're actually really close. And they both have girlfriends, and the little movie starts one of them just getting it on, just plugging that girl. And
It does start off, yeah.
so that right there kind of set the tone for me and like who these guys end up being. But anyways, so the 2 guys, their girlfriends go to Europe, so they're kind of free to do whatever for however long the girls are gone. They go to a wedding and they meet one of the kids' cousins' wives, and she seems like a nice chick, Louisa, and she definitely seems uninterested with her hubby, or maybe not really, but you could tell there's something kind of going on. But anyways, the story goes that they know this beach and they're trying to get her away from him and possibly have sexual relations with her, and it turns into this like road trip, coming of age, just crazy love triangle that kind of is messed up in the end if you think about it. But yeah, this was a first for me. So I really like this movie. I know Rex was saying earlier before we got on here that what?
Folks, you see some dong, and Rex is
No,
not
this
mature
when
enough
I
to
finished
handle
watching
it.
this movie. When I finished watching this movie, I texted Aaron and I said, "This movie was Danny and Brandon's dream road trip to the T."
Hey, man. Especially that diving board scene. That is something Brandon and I would do for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
in front of each other.
Is this written like somehow someone knew Brandon and Danny were going to be best friends? And they're like, this is what they would do on a road trip.
Yeah, he got me pretty good when he sent me that shit. It was funny as hell.
Well, we got a good stuff.
Yeah. No, that movie's good.
Is that your full consensus of the film? The movie is good.
Yeah, I was just interjecting while Danny Danny was giving the synopsis.
Oh yeah, you did interject. Yeah, were you done, Danny?
Oh, that's fine.
Do you feel done?
I was absolutely done. No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Maybe clean that up in post.
As he's drinking his coffee or whatever the hell it is.
I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was pretty good. I love coming of age films usually, and this one definitely took us for a wild ride. I like when he, what were the two names?
Julio and Julio.
Tanakh, right?
Diego Luna looking like a fresh little baby boy. I've seen him in Andor, and I'm like, and other stuff too, and Gael Garcia Bernal too. I'm like, well, that guy always looks the same every time I see him.
It literally reminded me of what was that Drake and Josh. It reminded me of like an adult version of Drake and Josh. Those two,
but more perverted.
100%.
Less funny, more perverted.
17-year-old boys, dude. I mean, come on. The amount of times they dropped the F slur too, I was like, yeah, that's early 2000s. That's about right.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't really know what to expect with that one. I had bought the Criterion during that last sale, and then I hadn't watched it yet. So when you chose them, I was stoked. I was like, sick. Time to knock that one out. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. It was actually pretty enjoyable. But again, I'm pretty biased because I like most coming-of-age films, and this one being foreign, I think kept it pretty interesting to me. It felt fresh, something new.
Emphasis on the coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they just shot right into the pool, too.
I knew you guys were going to love that scene when I was watching.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I watched it, and I was like...
When you're just a good ass friend, sometimes it's okay to torque.
You got
anytime that action is incorporated in a movie, I'm gonna laugh. I'm sorry.
For sure.
Like Ichi the Killer, dude. I had never seen that movie, and when that happened, I fucking started dying.
Okay. Well, the cum on the leaf is just out of this world.
That's so what's so unique about this movie? Like, how is this movie different than like fucking? This might piss you off, but how's it any fucking different than like Road Trip or Euro Trip?
This is like a borderline porno movie in certain points. Yeah, I think it's less funny. I mean, there's definitely playful comic banter. There's comic banter and stuff like that. But like,
yeah, it's got funny parts.
It felt more unfiltered, and I like, especially not just with this film, but with all of his films, like you can kind of get a sense of like the environment around them. I mean, clearly they weren't like in like the nicest part of Mexico, but it was at a point where, it kind of shows you the true hardships of, living down there. Like when they were pulling up to like federale checkpoints and shit like that. Like, so that definitely gave it more of an interesting value to, the story itself as they were progressing on and trying to make it to this beach. And I love that they got lost and pretty much were just pretending that they knew where they were going, and then they end up getting there. And the whole scenario of how it kind of breaks down is kind of poetic and cool, but at the same time, it's like all three of these people are just, completely ruining their lives in different ways, which is kind of hard to watch, but at the same time, you can't look away.
Yeah, I just want to mention, the hell did that dude dive from the bedroom door onto his girlfriend and his pants already off, basically? Like, Then all of a sudden she flies him off the bed and he pops up. He's all, passport?
Dude, when he knew, when she was like, "Yo, I need you to help me out," he knew. He had already like unzipped his pants, sitting there waiting, talking to the mom or whatever. Goes up there, gets a quick plug, finds the passport.
10-second, dude. Yeah, 10-second.
And think about it. Yeah, 10-second. That's the last time he hit that,
dude. Yeah, they're out banging Italian dudes. I don't know what the hate in that movie was for Italian dudes, but
dude,
I took offense. I took offense watching.
I mean, for me, I think what kind of separates it from other coming of age story is the way it's shot. Kind of elevates it. Like some of the road trip cinematography is really good. It even, to me, like you can see stuff that shades of stuff he uses in future movies, like especially when filming the car while it's driving. I'm reminded of Children of Men. And the performances are really great, especially for how young, I was mentioning, Diego Luna and Gael Garcia Bernal are, and obviously Maribel Verdú is like the best part of the movie to me. I think Luisa was such a great character and such a vibrant character. There's a lot of life in the movie too, which is what I really loved about it. Just kind of showing, like Danny was saying, maybe not the best part of Mexico, but they're having fun, they're having a good time. There's a lot of life. It's very vibrant. There's a lot going on in the background. There's a lot of like political shit going on in the background too. I don't know if you noticed, like a lot of like protesting and police activity. And
Julio's sister was an activist.
Yeah, totally. I kind of really liked that too, like the subliminal messages throughout. I don't know. I thought this was fucking. I enjoyed every last minute of it. So,
the parts of the movie I didn't really like care for much were the parts where he'd be like, it would stop and it'd be like, these pigs came from a farm 11 and a half miles away. I actually really enjoyed
that.
No, the narrate. I didn't like the. I liked the narrating, but I didn't like how all of the sound was taken out to let the narrator speak. I wish there would have been some ambient sound underneath him. That's kind of like my only real critique of it.
Well,
I like the stories.
The stories to me didn't.
It was about everybody coming of age. Everybody's story.
Besides
everybody's
Theo,
life.
Right? That was his name, Theo.
Theo,
the family at the end, the guy, the
Chewy,
the husband, Chewy. Was it Chewy?
Yeah, where he ended up just becoming a janitor at the hotel.
Chewy. Like, see that one I liked,
the goat, bro.
Because that one like kept like was the story that really built into what was a connection. But he would choose random things I didn't care for, like the pigs. Like and some other things, but like at the end one there were certain ones that he did that were like more evolving to the story, but then ones to me that didn't make sense and I thought were dumb.
Yeah.
The one about Chewy, that's like was done, I thought cool, like you find out about the hotel, they taken his land, he doesn't give tours anymore, and he's a janitor. That's a cool add-on in how they did that. But like, I don't give a shit that the pigs come from 1.5 miles away from a farmer whose family might not be able to feed pigs next year.
A bunch of people trichinosis.
Dude, like, I don't know. It was a weird choice here and there, and I didn't care for most of them. A few of them were good, but most of them I was like, what? You took it too far. You took a good thing and took it too far.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying, I guess. It did seem out of place at times, but I think it also helped with the atmosphere and, making you feel the situation. Like Brandon was mentioning, a lot of those shots are sometimes during the more political strife of the movie and shit like that as they're passing through those towns and areas. So I felt like it fit, and it kind of carried the narrative a little bit for the, the littler stuff that was going on between the three of them. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I don't really know how many times we've done a foreign film on here yet, but I know Rex, you were saying right before we pressed record that was it difficult because it was the subtitles that you had to read, or just because you couldn't like look away?
Because I have to read them. I don't speak Spanish, so I have to read them to know what's going on, and so I have to keep looking away from what they're doing. To read the subtitles. And I got a problem with it, but it just sucks because I know I'm missing stuff.
Yeah. I was just curious because
when they say that, my girlfriend's the one who told me that, when I told her what the name of the movie is, she's like, "Oh, they said that one time during the movie," and I was like, "When?"
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's at the end of the movie when they're taking the tequila shots.
Yeah.
But I don't know Spanish, so when they said it, I was reading the subtitles and not looking.
Hey,
and
to
so,
the clit, dude. To the
clit. So again, that's my only problem when it comes to foreign films is a lot of them are really good, but I know I'm missing things like that because I don't speak the language, whatever it is, either way, any movie, like when it comes to that point. So it just sucks in that regard because like I also know that translations to English aren't one for one. So like Japanese movies are notoriously, or like Japanese translations from anime and stuff are notoriously bad in English, but when you read the actual Japanese, what it was supposed to say, it's a lot more deep and a lot more meaning behind what they're saying. But in English, it'll be like, yeah, that was really great. It's something based just from the translation. So I know a lot of gets lost in translation basically. But I wasn't knocking anything against these movies for it. No, it didn't bother me.
I didn't know. I only asked because, like I said, there's going to be a shitload of those coming your way in different languages. So
I know. Oh, I know.
All right, I'm just saying. Well, moving on. Let's get to Brandon's favorite topic here. 2004 is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Why don't you tell us about that one, Danny?
I'd love
to. It sucks.
Shut up.
Let's have Brandon tell us about it.
Yeah,
Brandon,
right?
let's hear what you saw from the movie.
Well, no,
we need to. I saw the movie.
Danny's got to give us a breakdown of what the movie's about for the listener, real quick.
I'll fucking break that shit down.
That's what I mean. Let's hear Brandon's breakdown.
Harry has a bedroom now. They're at dinner, and his bitch of an I don't even know who this fat bitch is.
That was his aunt.
Okay. It's his aunt's aunt. It's his aunt. Yeah.
Okay, so just another aunt because his parents are dead.
And
then he turns her into a balloon, and god damn it, that shit made me so mad. Like, I don't know why.
He gets in trouble for using magic outside of it.
It just made me so mad.
That's right. Help him along, Dan.
So Harry gets in trouble for using magic outside of school. Big fucking trouble. And then they come to find out the notorious Sirius Black is breaking out of Azkaban, which is fucking impossible.
Who's a dog, also. Like, get fucked.
No. I can't remember the terminology they use, but he's something more.
Oh, yeah, some other stupid made-up word. Yeah, I remember.
Anyways, come to find out that's Harry's godfather, and he's trying to help him and protect him because he knows that Voldemort is getting nearer to becoming full completion, full-bodied.
And he's going to come to full completion inside Harry?
That's exactly it, yep. And it's more or less the maturing of becoming a so-called wizard. And I feel like this one definitely, like I said earlier, it takes a darker turn, and that's why I like this one so much, because it's not so like cheery-eyed. Oh, we're going to Hogwarts. Like, nah, man, we're going to Hogwarts, mate. You go down to the Forbidden Forest, you're asking for trouble, like shit like that. So. No, I again, this is my favorite Harry Potter movie. I just like the way that he, a lot of the framing in this. I mean, he's so good at it in all these movies that we watch, but this one especially, just the dark undertones and the lighting and stuff was really good. But yeah, for me, this is the best movie. They're good ones after, don't get me wrong, but I like this one because it's just that turning point. So it just sticks out to me as one of his best films. But after watching these ones, it's not his best one, but it's one of his better ones. Why do you guys always laugh when I talk?
This movie is so sweet.
Because sometimes people are making faces because it's like I know Brandon hates the movie, so to hear you say it's one of the best ones, it's like he smiles like "Want to bet, motherfucker?" Almost. That's how it seems to me.
He doesn't
and
know
it
everything.
Cracks me up. No. I you know how often him and I disagree, but that doesn't make what he does not fucking hilarious to me.
They fucking go back in time it's not mentioned. Oh my god. Like, it's such a cheap Deus Ex Machina, like, bullshit ass thing. Like, oh, we failed the mission, but hey, guess what? We have this thing that conveniently takes us back in time. Get fucked.
What makes me laugh about your assessment of Harry Potter shit is you're actually one of the people I know that's the most open to like fantasy shit.
Right.
But you just shit all over
This is
Harry
the guy
Potter.
who loves fucking Jim Henson walking around
here.
with dark crystals up his ass.
Hell yeah,
hey, that's
dude.
so sick. Don't even get me started. But to their point, yeah, you're over here fucking believing in Lord of the Rings with the fucking hobbits and the One Ring and fucking Smeagol and shit. Get the hell out of here. You're getting all hopped up because one of them goes back in time. Like, it's they're magical. Magic, man. Like, they could do some wily shit.
Going back in time should be strong.
It's magical.
No, man. Shouldn't
yeah, what happened with Marty McFly went back in time? You didn't have a problem with that, did you?
Yeah, you're okay with him going back in a DeLorean, but if someone does a little thing, you're like, this is bullshit.
Not Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Fuckawitz.
Shut up.
And also, this is the last thing I'll say about it, and then you guys can gush. I'll stop. I'll let you guys have your moment with Harry. The werewolf looks fucking stupid.
God.
Wow, crazy. A movie from 2004 doesn't look so believable.
I hate how he's like skinny. He looks stupid. He sucks.
I mean, I won't be gushing. Like I said, Harry Potter for me is whatever. Like, I don't hate it like you do, but I'm also not like a fan. Like, I wouldn't go to fucking Hogwarts Land or whatever the fuck that shit's called.
It's awesome.
I wouldn't do it.
I've never been, but that's for sure where I would go next to in Star Wars. But this movie is sweet. This is the turn of, this is the time turner where we get into a more darker Harry Potter. And yeah, we get into a lot of stuff in this, like his dad, Severus Snape. We get into learning about just the Dementors and how they were used in the war with Voldemort. This is a great story. It covers a lot of ground. Obviously it's a movie, so it cuts a lot from the book that really kind of explain, so a lot of the stuff doesn't come out of nowhere, like all of a sudden they can go back in time. There were signs through the whole entire book which obviously don't translate into the movie, so you can't. So we're just going to talk about the movie itself. So yeah, there are some missteps, but that's what happens when you go from book to a movie in almost any case. I think it's great. I think he did a great job. I agree with what you said earlier. I don't know how he goes from And Your Mom to Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And just the tones are so different. They're both teenage kind of movies and stuff like that, but this Harry Potter was really dark. Like the themes they use, how he like shot everything, that scene with all of them at the end in the screaming shack, the screaming shack at the end, like all that, finding out that like nobody wanted to talk about it, but Ron had been sleeping with the like 40-year-old man in his bed and shit in his room for like 10-15 years. Like everybody just glossed over that part. That dude.
I already said I'll stop, but that fucking.
But yeah, so anyways, like there are, it's not perfect, especially knowing the books and like.
No, yeah, I agree.
I still think it's great. I still think this movie is absolutely fantastic.
Yes, sir.
And it's fantastical. And you know what? If J.K. or if J.R.R. Tolkien can write an entire Elvish language, I think Rowling can be given a little bit of grace in making her own spell language.
Look, if I'm going to get chastised if you're going to chastise me for how I said the title of that first film and not give him shit for how he just pronounced fucking Tolkien.
For Token? I don't know. Yeah. I kind of liked it. That's why. I don't know. J.R.R. Token.
Whatever. I fucked it up.
I'll kill you.
Somebody's watching too much South Park.
Tolkien.
There we go.
Tolkien.
There we go. That's all I want.
Tolkien is cool too.
Tolkien. He's the coolest character in South Park, apparently. But
no,
anyway.
Yeah. Didn't they change his name to Tolkien? Wasn't it Token, and then they changed it to Tolkien?
Oh fucking no!
I'm pretty sure
they
that
do.
happened.
It's hard to really keep up with what South Park does.
Yeah, that's true.
They're crazy. Either way, great movie, great series. Get fucked, Brandon.
I think great is a stretch. Like even, I think that's pretty bold. Like the thing for me about these movies, and the reason it's odd that he not only did he do one, but like the fact that there's 8 of them, is they're all kind of the same to me. Like saying one is better than the other in a saga that large is kind of whatever, because I feel like it's just one. They're obviously going to be like different director, specialties that go into making those movies, but in terms of the story, to me, like I feel like they're all just mediocre, like 3-star, 3.5-star films. I don't feel like any of those movies could reach higher than that.
Well, we're not talking about cinema groundbreaking stories or nothing like that, but for a series like this, an 8-movie series and a translation from a loved book series to a movie, was great. And not a lot of them translate to that. A lot of book to movies don't end up too hot.
What do the kids say these days? Mid? That's Harry
Straight
Potter.
Mid, homie.
It's mid.
Nah, bro, that stuff is bussin'.
Straight bussin'.
Straight bussin' Harry Potter.
No cap.
But yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
Yeah, let's
talk
get 2006 Children of Men.
Actually, we can move on past this one too.
Wow.
Hell no. Hit us with the synopsis, Danny.
This movie is a beautiful story of a man who used to be some form of a former activist and married to some former activist. And you don't really know his background until about halfway through the movie. Anyways, he is asked to escort a woman from being a refugee outside or inside of, it seems to be some sort of like communist like lockup. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're locked up, but I think they're locked up. Anyways,
that's just a straight ICE detention camp, fool.
She's a refugee that's trying to escape to a free colony, so to speak, because she is the only and the last woman on Earth to be pregnant, that they know of at least. And
recently in the story, the youngest person alive had just died.
And yeah, correct.
He was the youngest by like 2 weeks or something, because they announced the next person's youngest name, and it's
a big deal when not a single newborn baby has been born in like 18 years or whatever.
Yeah. It's just so funny that 2-week difference makes one famous and the other not.
Yeah. Well, guess what? You're famous now.
Yeah, right.
But so I liked the post-apocalyptic vibe of this, the putt-putts especially that were going around town and shit. Those are kind of cool. Again,
those shitty cars.
Yeah, dude, those are just sweet. It's not like the futuristic crap that you always assume with these movies that are taking place in the future. And oddly enough, this takes place in 2027, which is so funny. But and then
most of what's happening in that movie is happening now in 2025.
There you go. Except for the putt-putts. I don't know. They might be might be more rampant in like Taiwan or something. But Clive Owen is a badass in this movie. The duster really got me going. I didn't even realize that he wore one until he threw that bitch on. And it was like fucking blowing in the wind and shit. I was like,
yeah, you and those fucking dusters.
I want one, man. Anyone listening that wants to donate to the cause, man. He was awesome. Julianne Moore was great until she wasn't ready for that. That was definitely a trademark oh fuck moment for me.
So fast.
I can't believe this is the first time watching that the white dude with dreads is Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, we were laughing about that, Brandon and I.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And then we were also Brandon was laughing at me because I didn't know how to pronounce Chewie's name. How do you pronounce that, Brandon?
How do you pronounce it?
Chetwell Okafor. I'm sorry, by the way. That's not funny, but
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Chiwetel
That guy's awesome.
Ejiofor. There you go.
I love that guy and everything he's ever been in. He's awesome.
He's great.
He's always awesome.
Yeah, he had a pretty significant role.
Bitch.
And then my man Michael Caine, dude. Michael Caine was awesome. And then
my finger.
Strawberry cough.
Yeah. And then oddly enough, Brandon, you were mentioning the ant that blows up into a balloon. That actually was the woman that looked like Gary Oldman from True Romance.
That was Drexel? That was fucking Drexel. God damn it.
That is the same actress, correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there were little things in that movie that made me laugh, but overall, it was an amazing film. Honestly,
Yeah.
The camera work, man. Some of the one shots, Brandon and I were just taken back with how amazing it is that you can capture all of that in just one take, and not go through the editing process of chopping up scenes and stuff. And he's really good at it. I think
there's simulated oneers in some cases, but
sure, but
they're fucking sweet.
But for the most part,
yeah,
they're sweet. Yeah. And they even get better with the next two movies that we'll talk about. Especially there's a couple of really great ones in Roma too. But yeah, this post-apocalyptic world was very interesting, and I definitely had a few laughs with the hairstyles, especially Charlie Hunnam and Drexler.
What specific scenes stood out to you? That you thought maybe were particularly effective.
Dude, that ending scene with him running while he was getting bombed and stuff. I was like, damn, dude, I feel like I was watching Saving Private Ryan. All that was happening, and just the chaos that's going on while he's just trying to run to get to that hospital, and then that tank just freaking throws that damn round into the side of the building, just blows it away. I thought that the last 45 minutes of that movie were unbelievable. They were great.
Hell no, my favorite scene is when Julianne Moore gets pissed and she's like, that ringing you hear in your ears? That's the last time you'll ever hear that. Or she's like, that's something in your ears dying, and that's the last time you'll ever hear that frequency. I was like, man, you're just mad right now, so you're just yelling these I
think she cursed him.
I liked it.
I love watching movies like this with Danny, because especially when it's his first time, because he's such an expressive person, and when she gave birth to the baby and the steam is coming off of it, he's like, yo, look at the heat coming off that baby.
I actually said, look at the heat coming off that pussy.
Hell yeah. That line about the ringing in the ears, that Kill Whitney Dead has that quote, or that little segment in one of their songs before a breakdown. It's actually pretty sick.
Hell yeah, Kill Whitney Dead rules.
Fuck yeah, they're good at doing that shit. But what about you guys? I mean, Brandon, what's the scene that you stood out to you in particular in this movie?
I love the scene in the car where it kind of starts out where it's very low key. They're doing the dating trick, and it's just kind of like a conversation, but the camera's moving from each person, and then you just out of nowhere see the firing, the flaming car come down the hill, and all the refugees, or the Fugees as they call them in that movie, coming out and attacking them, and then you see the motorcycle guy with the gun come out, who we find out later is Charlie Hunnam. They fucking murder Julianne Moore, and then just the way Clive Owen kicks the door open and knocks him out, and just that whole scene is so tense and the way it's shot, the going in and out of the windshield, watching the windshield crack as they're driving away, and then finally breaking, all in real time is fucking sweet. And the escape from the farm is another one where he does a real good job of showing things happen in real time, where it starts in early morning and you can hear the roosters in the background cawing, and it's just an audio thing, but then you actually see the sun starting to come up while they're escaping and being chased by all these people, and it's so cool. It's such a great piece of film, like to for that to I don't know, I love that shit. And yeah, the final battle where it's all one take of him trying to get to her, Chewie and Charlie have taken her, and we got the goat of the movie, Mariska, that fucking gypsy lady that helps him in the end in the red
yeah,
coat.
dude. Charo Segura, dude.
That lady is the fucking, oh man, she's awesome. She's like saves the day pretty much. Like without her, they would have been fucked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Movie's great. It's a great sci-fi apocalyptic movie that like actually hits super hard today with what's going on with in terms of immigration and just the way that immigrants are treated in general. And like it's pretty fucking crazy how, I don't know, shit like that can happen. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, the camera angles, they really capture like the doom and gloom of the situation, and the movie's sad, like, and
people in cages with their kids and shit.
Yeah, it's definitely a fucked up movie. I remember seeing it in the theater too, and not really appreciating film the way I do now, and thinking like, man, what the fuck is this movie? But upon a rewatch, I mean, I've rewatched it since then many times, but that initial first time I didn't appreciate it, and it's one of those movies that I've watched many times since, and yeah, it hits me different every time, I think, just because of the subject matter. And it's just crazy to think about, like what you mentioned, Danny, the 2027 thing with the movie itself, where it takes place, and then what Brandon's saying. It's like, yeah, that shit is going on right now. It's like 2 years ahead of schedule.
I like this. I like this movie, and I like Book of Eli because they're kind of, to me, like almost the same in different ways. Worlds at the end, the baby in this terminology is the Bible. It's like a powerful thing, and people want it. People want it for power. Like, if they say they have a pregnant woman about to give birth, they could win political power and stuff like that. Same with the Bible, and that in that world with that book, they thought the word of the book will bring them power. But either way, I think Children of Men is a great movie, especially one that doesn't get talked about a lot. I feel like a lot of people forget this movie even exists.
I can't believe this movie doesn't have a Criterion release, to be honest with you. But hopefully,
it's like soon. This movie came out with another one came out that just overshadowed it so much. Everybody just doesn't remember this one.
This is 2006.
Yeah,
something like that, I think. But yeah, no, this movie's always been super awesome. But I rarely watch it, and I rarely hear anybody talk about it. I've never heard anybody be like, "Hey, you ever seen Children of Men?"
Yeah, that's true. It's not like a widely talked about film for sure. But
I expect more just because it is really good. It's well shot. Like, again, the Julianne Moore, just what happens to her just really does come out of nowhere. You don't expect it, especially with how the scene, like how things were progressing with the ball and like that trick. She said like she can't find anybody else who could do that trick. But no, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 2006 was a pretty big year in film.
What were some other? Are you seeing it?
Yeah,
like, what are some of the
Departed.
Oh damn.
300. Yeah. I'm just talking about in terms of success. You don't have to like the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Inside Man, Pan's Labyrinth,
which is also
Casino
Alfonso.
Royale. Yeah, tough break.
What did he produce or
the second Pirates of the Caribbean?
Alfonso didn't do Pan's Labyrinth. That's Del Toro.
Yeah, he's credited in there somehow because when I put his name in, it does come up.
Interesting. Oh, Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby.
Oh, hell yeah. Shake and bake.
Mission Impossible 3, Final Destination 3.
That is a stacked year. No wonder this movie kind of got swept under the rug.
Yeah. Definitely.
Tough break.
Departed came out that year. That sucks.
2013 Gravity.
What's there to say? Yeah. Two people go to space. They're trying to fix a satellite, and a Russian satellite hits them.
No, the Russians bomb their own satellite because they're trying to decommission it, and that's how they do it. But and obviously there's no communication between Russia and U.S., so they don't know that there's people up there. So all the debris comes and just fucks their world. Man, I think this movie is a technical fucking spectacle. The sound design is fucking phenomenal. I mean, it's not like the most story heavy movie, but I think it's intense. And again, like the sound design and cinematography is fucking sweet as shit, dude. When she first gets hit and she's spinning on that arm, and it's like that makes me fucking dizzy, bro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be a story-driven film. It's supposed to just be like a fucking butthole puckering movie, you know.
And I have a pretty sweet TV and sound system, so it was pretty awesome for me. So,
oh, cool guy.
Wow! Applause for Brandon, everybody.
Woo!
Woo!
I'm just saying, like, people will complain, like, no, you have to see it in the theater. It's like, no, get fucked.
You do.
No, you don't.
Oh yeah. I much more enjoyed it in the theater. I'll tell you that, because at a rewatch of this one, like you were saying, the sound design is really cool, especially when it's like all quiet and stuff. Like, you got to take into consideration no sound is carrying in space, so you can't hear any of that shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Blu-ray I have has a version of the film that doesn't have any of the score in it, because that was like, for me, one of the big things
that'd be a trip.
Was kind of a bummer to me. I was like, oh man, I wish it was like more like it was in space. And I'm going to rewatch it without the score, because I feel like that'll be a fucking kind of a more intense experience even too.
It's 60 minutes of Sandra Bullock just being like,
and that's my queen, dude. I love Sandra Bullock.
No, that's tight. I mean, that would probably make the movie definitely a lot more intense. For sure. That's cool that you have that. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, it's just on the Blu-ray.
I would probably rewatch it that way as well. Probably like it more, because this movie was very too over the top for me to not be like. You can tell this movie was specifically made for 3D IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
Like, specifically the way they do things, it's just made that way.
Well, what's
like,
over the top
Avatar? Like, Avatar is the same way. No, just all the way they do the scenes, the way they keep constantly showing like the and like the way they shoot it, and to where it's like when you see it in 3D, you get a visual view of it. So like there's reasons for it, but when you don't watch it in 3D, it just literally falls flat. No pun intended, you know? And yeah, that's all. Like, you could just tell it was made for that. But with Lamont here saying that they have one without a score, like, that sounds a lot more trippy. Like, the movie would be a lot more.
Yeah, I think it has like all the sound taken out of it. Pretty much like it's like pretty much like a real recreation of what it would be like in space. So you hear their comms basically, like it's almost like a silent movie.
I have a newsflash for you. Taking out the score isn't going to change your beef with the camera angles because of the 3D.
Oh yeah.
No, but it could make the movie better.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't
take the score out of a lot of movies, and it could probably change your views of them.
I think this movie is just mediocre, honestly. Like, visually, yeah, it looks great, but I think everything else about it falls pretty short. I agree with Danny. I think it's kind of just lackluster. I don't know why it was so praised at the time, other than like, yeah, the camera work. I mean, it's just
camera and fucking the sound design is fucking awesome, bro.
But and I love Sandra Bullock. Like, she's one of my favorite actresses. I mean, she's awesome. But I just don't.
In the ship and she curls up into the fetal position. You just want to hug her.
I mean,
I always want. It's just Sandra Bullock, but
I was gonna say I always want to hug Sandra Bullock. It does not have to be in Gravity.
I would rather be Keanu Reeves in Speed when they go out of the bus and they're on the fucking
out of the butt.
The bus, dude.
Out of the butt, dude.
Go watch Y Tu Mama Tambien again. You need some more hog in your life.
Did you guys watch that together? I bet you did.
No, we didn't watch that one.
Damn.
Missed opportunity.
I know. Because I definitely would have laughed with him.
The video.
Yeah, I would have laughed with him about the diving board scene for sure.
The only moment in Gravity that I kind of liked, but it's become a cliche now in these movies that have a like limited cast in them, is, you know, George Clooney dies, he drifts off, and then when she gets into that other module and she's chilling, then George Clooney's back and she's like, oh, how did you get here? And it's that hallucination that person is still with you. And a lot of these movies, like pretty recently, that movie The Fall, spoiler alert, that happens in that film too with one of the characters that
I
pass
can't
away.
watch that movie.
Yeah.
That looks like
dude, it's actually pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie.
I know,
though.
but I don't want to like. What's that other movie that just went on Netflix that I actually really want to see? But it like the Vertigo and the Heights. Oh, The Walk with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, where he's the guy that did the tightrope across the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
I've seen just some of the shots of like the vertigo and shit in that movie, and I'm like, nah. I like really want to see it, but nah.
So, did you like the movie? I mean, Rex. I mean, I did, or did you?
Nah,
just
the
think
movie. I couldn't wait for it to end. I actually was falling asleep at the end of it.
Damn.
Because I thought it was over. Because, she's like, she finally made it and she's heading down. And I'm like, all right, cool, it's over. And then I start dozing off and then explosions start happening. And I'm like, oh, shit, I guess we're still on for more of a ride. And yeah, that was about it. I don't know if I'll never watch this again. I watched it once years ago. And I probably thought then I'd never watch it again. But here I am.
Yeah, so never say never.
So, now that I know about that version, the jury's still out on it. But overall, I'm just not a fan. I'll never recommend it, and I don't know how you kind of get roped into doing this movie.
Roped into? He probably wanted to do this movie.
Yeah, he probably just read the script and
he was like, "Hey, let's like push sound design to the next level." Which, like, I'm pretty sure they won many awards for.
They
it
did
win
something for that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what they set out to do, and that's what they did.
I don't know. Just from his other movies, this one is just a little off. But okay.
That's fair.
Okay. But to stem off that, which is perfect actually, to stem off that, given the subject matter of most of his other movies, Harry Potter excluded, but Roma after this one with a lot of the political themes too, being in pretty much all of the other movies, how does Gravity fit into his body of work? Like, how would you say that, this movie is
I think it's just him showing off his technical prowess, because I mean, he's done that in the past, but I think this is the most raw form of that.
All right, makes sense. Yeah, for sure. I do think, the movie does a lot of things right, but it's just like ultimately, I don't know. I felt like it was too quick of a movie for one thing. Like it's only like an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes or so. It's not very long. And it's really quick and to the point. It's like an adrenaline pumper. I think that was my review of it on Letterboxd. Even like, man, it just gets my adrenaline going for the most part. But I felt like I don't know how to explain it. But I wanted to ask you, Danny, before we moved on, because you didn't really tell us exactly like what were some of the things you didn't like about the movie overall.
I think because it was so short and it was just so to the point, like there wasn't a lot of storytelling there. And sometimes it's crucial, sometimes it's not, but I felt like for this it would have been a little bit more crucial knowing kind of what the background was about all this, because it's there but it's vague, and then like I said, it seemed rushed, so I don't know. I just it's of these ones, it's not the one for me that stands out that I'm like gonna tell someone to watch for sure. Hell no.
I get you. Oh shit! I thought Bond was about to fucking drop some serious knowledge.
Truth bombs.
No.
All right. Well, moving on to
hold on. Before we move on, I have an example. I finally thought of it. All the scenes where they keep trying to catch ropes.
Oh yeah.
It's constantly at that tethers. Angle. Yeah, the tethers where in 3D it'd be like right here. And they they're always like, oh my god. Oh geez.
Okay, but like
they got those space things. I understand so they're like this. Okay. But still, I digress. But that was like things that I just felt were annoying. Anyways, I'm sorry. It came to my mind.
No, because now it brought another question to my mind. Are there any other movies that have been filmed with the intent of 3D that you've rewatched and you have the same thoughts on, the same feelings
Avatar
for?
1.
Okay.
Avatar 1, there's a few scenes where you can tell, like when Awa drops the flower petals, you can tell in the Blu-ray, in the 4K version, that it's supposed to be 3D, the way they kind of shoot it. And there were a couple other ones, like when they're flying. It just doesn't land as well. but I watched it in this one's particular. I watched in 3D. So,
Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street 6, I think. That one was in 3D, and yeah, there's some shit in that where you're like, come on, man.
Yeah, like
the
glove
fucking
coming at the
hand.
screen. Yeah. No, for sure. I was gonna bring up Friday the 13th, all the 3D shit in those, like the throwing of the
that movie was awesome in 3D.
Pitchfork. Yeah, but when you watch it without the glasses, it's that shit. Like
Right.
it comes at the screen and it's kind of lame and like I don't know, but
yeah, that's the one thing about 3D shot movies is they just, unless you watch it in 3D at home, those scenes are they just literally fall flat because you're like, oh,
why is that?
is this where that's supposed to happen?
Oh,
but anyways, let's move on.
2018's Roma. So
I thought this was going to be about tomatoes. Again, I was wrong.
Jeez. This is not fried green tomatoes, dude, or Nona's or whatever that is
Look,
on Netflix.
Hispanics use a lot of Roma tomatoes when they cook.
Cool.
I'm sorry. They're really good tomatoes to use for salsa and cooking things. Like, they're just, I'm sorry.
Tell me more, Emerald.
All right, Danny, hit us with the synopsis.
This is a heartbreaking but beautiful story of a housekeeper, or I guess she's kind of like a nanny anyways. Cleo, who works for it seems to be a wealthy family. It looks like the dad's like a doctor or a surgeon. And it's just kind of like a day in the life of like, being in her shoes and seeing what she goes through. And she has some bumps along the way, literally. And then, living in Mexico in like 1970, 71. Yeah.
Pump and
with
bump.
with all the political stuff that's going on, and how dangerous it is down there and stuff like that. It was kind of a harrowing story. You felt bad for this woman. I know I did. It was definitely one of his more sensitive pieces of film, I would say. I think the part that got me the most was at the end when she said, "I didn't want it. I didn't want to have her." Like that was a rough moment for me. Got a little teary eyed there. But overall, this is the most beautifully shot movie he's done, I think.
Agreed.
I think this is one of the most beautifully shot black and white movies I've ever seen.
Sure. Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I think the black and white cinematography,
the scene with the fire
incredible.
Starting was great.
Hey, even
great.
the dog shit looked fucking artistic as fuck, man. I was like, cut.
I was trying to connect him to see if they made a sign or something.
And I also liked that scene where they went to that like family outing where they were like out in the middle of nowhere and they're all just like popping rounds and the kids are running around and shit. I'm like, oh yeah, that's safe. Like
that was one of the good oneers though, where it was like coming up like from them passing out the guns, going up to them shooting the guns, and that one fucking boss just with the grit in his mouth, just
hell yeah, dude, just wrapping off rounds. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's his best movie, honestly, and I think he won Best Director for that movie, if I'm correct. It's just it's really sad, but then it's kind of poetic at the end when she gets to go back, and it's like that's kind of like her life, like she thought she was ready to start her own family, and obviously things went sideways with the shower rod boy. But
Furman's a pussy. That guy.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
I was hoping that dude was going to get the shit beat out of him by someone better than him.
Yeah, exactly. He was asking for it. Now,
give him the rock.
Maybe you guys caught this. I don't know. When they were in the department store getting the baby bassinet, when that guy came in and he was the last one in there, was that him?
Oh yeah, that was him pointing the gun at her.
Right, that's
like,
right.
They show you his face, and that's why he's looking at her like.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought.
But Cleo
I think his
is our little stoic, queen mother. She's a badass. Man.
Oh yeah, she was awesome. She was great. But yeah, I think this is his best movie, hands down.
Woman of few words.
Yeah, I was blown away with the way the movie was shot. Like scene after scene. You mentioned the outing, that family outing scene. I remember thinking even like, man, he even made this look fucking badass. Like, the way that the framing in the movie, like for one, just like of all those shots, yeah. You sons of bitches, dude. Like every time there's some good framing in the movie now, I think of you fucking saying that shit. It makes me laugh though.
The framing, but it's the framing.
And I said it to myself many times in this movie because it really is beautifully shot. It's definitely his best shot film. I completely agree. And I'm just kind of blown away by it because I really expected for this movie to just be kind of boring to me. And based on when I read the Netflix plot or whatever, I was like, I don't know about this one, but it actually kind of shocked me. And I guess it's like semi autobiographical for Alfonso Cuarón. So that's kind of cool too. Like, I guess this happened to his mom, or like he grew up around this situation and he wrote about this movie.
Oh, he's one of those little kids in that house.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's wild. Actually super cool.
And this movie's another cool thing about this movie is it was one of the first Criterion releases, like Anora, that right out the gate it got a Criterion release when it came out because it was just so badass, and it was Netflix's first like physical distribution of a Blu-ray because it was so well done and so well received.
Yeah, so now they have the Power of the Dog on Criterion too, which I have, and I still want to watch.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, man, like it shocked me, and that kind of brings me to a question I had for you guys: is like, what surprises were there in store for you in this movie when you watched it? Because again, it's like you read about what it's about, and it doesn't really sound like it would be as eventful as it is, and then boom,
baby death.
Know. Yeah. I wasn't ready
for that. That's pretty heavy for sure. Yeah. You look stunned, Rex. You're like, I'm speechless, boys. I don't know what to say.
No, nothing in this story surprised me. Not in a bad way. I really like this movie a lot. Actually.
I thought she was gonna have a sweet little baby and like raise it around all those other fucking little rascals that she's like taking care of.
This is gonna be a sweet but that's little... not the story of this person. This person's story to me is the person that's always in between the cracks that nobody sees.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
She's always the person when you're looking in a crowd, you're never looking for her. She's the person that, you know, she's always there, but nobody really sees. Like when she watches what happens with that wife and that dude who's all drunk.
And she's so quiet all the time. Yeah, she's a little always.
Stoned. So like even when these bad things happen to her, she never reacts like other people would or anything. Like it's always just a middle of the road in between the crack kind of thing. So like bad things happen to these type of people. And it's really sad because even they feel unnoticed. And
cry, Rick.
So like watching this movie was sad. I didn't expect it, especially that dong scene. I was like, dude, enough with this. It was just a little
bro. You have a good point. You gotta fucking talk about the dick.
Look,
man.
It was just a little too long. I can get over someone showing some. Yeah. Congrats to that guy. He's a douchebag in the movie. But anyways, it was just a little too long. But either way, my point being is that's why people treat her this way. Why Fermin was an asshole like that. And why her best friend throughout most of the movie after the initial part was pretty absent because she's got her life. So yeah, it's a sad movie because these type of people exist and it was done really well. It was shot really well. Like all these little extra added things, like you said, like with the political discourse in her life and what was going on with her mom. Like we don't really know, but again, she just doesn't talk. She's there, but she's not there. And it's just really sad because these people, like I said, do exist and a lot of bad things happen to these type of people and they're good people a lot of the time. And I thought the end was really nice for her redemption for what she felt, like the remorse and grief she felt about the baby and how when it died, she regretted what she felt about it and then dealing with that and then saving the kids. I thought it was really a poetic movie. I wasn't a fan at first. It was in black and white, but as the movie progressed and the more I saw, I was like, it was done perfect.
Yeah, some of the contrasting like of the black and the white is fucking insane in that movie.
Like I said, that scene with the fire, how she it again, like how she doesn't say anything. She sees and watches the fire start, but doesn't say anything. And she knows. I know she knows.
She fucking knows.
She knows. But anyways, it was definitely a beautiful movie. And Cleo, my heart goes out to her.
She's bossing around Mexico City right now. She's cool.
For sure. I'm sure she is.
Who of all of the movies that we watched from this guy, who do you think, who's the best character to you out of all the movies? Who stands out the most?
Cleo. Show.
I would say Cleo or Thea. I really liked Theo because he was kind of a hard ass, but at the same time, you could tell that, with all the shit that he had went through and, losing his son, he wanted to like have some form of redemption. And what better way to redeem yourself than to, save humanity, possibly with the birth of a new baby. But yeah, I think I agree with Rex. I think Cleo is just so empowering, and I love that analogy of someone in between the cracks. Like it's absolutely 100% true. Like she's always there. Nobody notices her, and when they do notice her, they're kind of like backhand her a little bit, but she takes it with such grace because it's kind of all she knows, And I think that's why she's so content at the end of the movie with being in the position that she's in, because it's like, I didn't want that baby because I have kids. Like these kids are my kids, and they kind of retort, having the same feelings for her. And that was kind of, got you in the heartstrings too, because you knew that those kids loved her. And especially after losing their dad and going through all that shit, like, she definitely would be the most prominent one, I would say.
Yeah, Cleo and Louisa were my favorite. I mean, they're both strong women, but kind of like different sides of that same kind of coin, like for different reasons. And yeah, they're both badass as hell, though. They're awesome.
It was Harry for me. Harry Potter all the
Hell
way.
Yeah! Fuck yeah!
No, I'm just kidding. It's Louisa for me as well. She was my favorite. I like how she approached life, knowing that she was probably going to be dead soon, and just she kind of her free spirited way. I liked it.
She hit
Worst
it
character
and
is
literally quit
Hagrid.
it.
That guy fucking sucks.
Dude, fuck.
No
you,
way,
bro.
no way, dude. Never. That guy.
I don't know why everyone likes Hagrid. That guy is
because
a fucking
you're a wizard, Harry.
You're a pussy, Harry.
That might be true too, but that still doesn't stop him from being magical.
Actually, my honorary mention is Charo Segura. She's a fucking great character.
Mariska.
Yeah.
No, she did. She is the reason that baby's alive.
Bro, she got the boat, dude.
Her and her dog.
Shady ass little sewer exit, dude. What the fuck, dude?
Oh, dude.
Motherfucker almost got tetanus from that rod.
Something I was thinking about while we were watching these movies again, away, not so much Gravity or Harry Potter, but I was kind of thinking that Alfonso is similar to Spike Lee in a lot of ways, in terms of just showing a story while something is going on in the background, some major thing, and kind of building around that. And I think there's some comparisons there that I was drawing, especially with the black and white stuff in Roma. And also in Tambien, some of that shit too. But yeah, I enjoyed these movies. I enjoyed these 5. I'm glad you picked him. It's kind of an out of left field pick, which I like. I also kind of enjoy it when Rex does it, and now you've done it too. Just pick some movies that you haven't even seen, and then we all kind of experience them for the first time, which was true for me for Tambien and Roma. So I'm really glad to have seen those two for sure. I wasn't that thrilled about watching Harry Potter 3. It's so funny because I liked those movies so much more like 5 or 6 years ago, but then upon a rewatch recently, I've just been like, these movies kind of suck, dude. Like, I don't know.
It's so grating. Like everything in that movie is so grating to me. Like the Rastafarian trunk of heads make me so mad. The fucking the fucking bitch in the painting. He's come for Harry Potter. It's Sirius Black. Oh my god! Like
Sirius Black.
I hate that, man.
It sucks, dude.
What is her name? The fat lady.
Yeah, the fat lady.
I'm gonna shove a Nimbus 2000 up that ass and fucking smack you and get you going, dude. You fucker.
Look, the movies are not masterpieces, but for what they are and when they came out, they are great.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here that it spawned 3 of the greatest actors that have ever seen Hollywood.
I'm glad you enjoy them, but that is not going to stop me from talking shit about you. No hard feelings.
Hey, look, man, it's all right. I take it personal. I grew up with these guys. We're best friends.
Last question I had was, can you think of another like major director who went on to direct just one entry in a series? A couple movies in Star Wars come to mind with like Ivan Kershner and shit like that. Like, what could you guys think? Is there any example that you can choose that stands out?
Irvin Kershner?
Or Irvin, yeah.
Rian Johnson.
Ryan Johnson?
Whatever his name, whatever. I don't care who he is. He sucks.
God damn it, man.
That dude made the worst Star Wars movie
You can't
ever.
be mad, bro.
That's hard.
That's your job. You're here to fucking correct everybody.
His name is really Ryan.
So you're saying
Ryan
like
Johnson
Ryan
is
Johnson.
great
so you're saying like a
filmmaker.
director doing
He
like
rules.
a movie that like
Yeah,
is
did
not
terrible
good?
though with Star Wars.
That's the best of that new trilogy. That
No,
second
not
movie.
necessarily not good, but it's like George Lucas wanted other people to direct the sequels, and he went out there and got like pre-established directors to take a go at it. Like, so can you think of an instance like that? Because Harry Potter is kind of like that. I mean, he didn't have a shitload of movies before that, but he was an experienced filmmaker. He made like 3 movies before that, and then they approached him. Unlike George Lucas, that was like pretty much his first outing after American Graffiti and THX, I believe. So like he wasn't like in the game. So I was just curious if anything like that came to you guys that you
I can think of off the top of my head.
All right.
Rian
Crash
Johnson
and burn.
Rian Johnson
made the worst Star Wars movie ever made. Second worst. I'm sorry. That's a lie. I am lying. It's the second worst.
The Last Jedi is better than all of the other sequel trilogy movies and all of the prequel trilogy movies.
Oh.
That is for sure a hot take.
Is it? I mean, none of those movies are really that well received, so I feel like any order is acceptable.
The prequel series only is loved now because of how bad the sequel series is.
The prequel series is only loved now because of the kids that were fucking 6 years old when that was in the theaters, and it's like their first fucking time ever seeing Star Wars. Are now adults and they're fucking pussies.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
Takes a
Tells
pussy
how
to
you
know
really
pussy.
feel.
No, I know. Hey, I mean,
but the point is that people only started loving those movies after the sequel trilogy was coming out. Before it was all hate for almost all of them except the old ones, and then the sequel trilogy came out, and it was all of a sudden people were like, "Wow, they really aren't as bad now."
I know. I watched The Phantom Menace on May the 4th,
that one is
and I never went back to finish the entire any of the movies.
One to talk about. It's got like a 20-minute scene that is good, but the rest of that movie is rough.
Hey, Jar Jar is the man, though. I will say that. That guy is actually he gets way too much hate. He's funny.
Rian Johnson made the worst Star Wars. That movie made. If you didn't think they could make a worse one until they made The Rise of Skywalker.
That
is anybody can top themselves, I guess, if they tried. But
that is just like opening your asshole and letting the fans toss your salad. That's all that is. And it has the gayest straight kiss I've ever seen in my life between Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley.
It was like when you were forced to kiss your cousin
sister or something.
Yeah, or something like that because you have to.
That's just
I don't know what scenario that is, but that's what it felt like.
It's pathetic, is what it is. It's forcing it in there for no fucking reason.
The Last Jedi suck.
All those movies suck.
The only one that's okay is The Force Awakens, and that's just because it's a carbon copy. But we're not talking about that.
Hey, do you think Alfonso? What do you think Alfonso Cuarón would do with with a Star Wars movie?
It'd be some kid who could be a Jedi, but isn't because nobody notices.
Coming of age Jedi movie.
Yeah, it's a coming of age man or boy who could have been a Jedi.
He's from a poor ghetto on Coruscant.
He spent too much time jerking it, and that's why he can't get his shit
torquing it with his bro on the fucking the water planet.
Fucking just straight pile driving his own saber,
Jesus, what the hell are we talking about?
That's rough. Right, he turned his saber into a a flesh saber.
We're just shooting shit now.
He's just fleshing the saber, dude.
All right. Well, any closing thoughts on Alfonso?
Yeah, Roma. That was a really good one.
I'm glad I watched that movie because that's definitely his best one for sure.
I'm glad I watched all of his movies.
Curious if he's got upcoming projects. I would assume he does. He's only 61.
I would probably recommend Roma to certain people. I don't think that movie will be appreciated by many.
Yeah, there's some touchy subjects in that.
But it is definitely...
I mean, it was extremely well received. Like, it did really, really fucking well. So if you look up, like, Rotten Tomatoes ratings and all the usual bullshit that everyone always flocks to for their opinions, it's up there. Got a lot of shit. So next week we're going to talk about Deftones. It's one of my favorite bands of all time. I put the 5 albums in the Discord for you fellas, and I'll be excited to talk about that. It's cool because we've all done one of our favorites. So, what's up? Get deaf?
I said get deaf.
Hell yeah, get deaf.
What?
All right. Well, this has been Alfonso Cuarón. This is your boy Practical.
Daniel Hermano.
This is Jeff.
This is Brandon. You guys have a good night.
Sounds like a time for like a tea and a crumpet and shit and going to bed.
Tired.
All right, we'll catch you guys next week.
Just smoke me.